Yo, welcome back to Big Time Fantasy Football. Zach, Nick, got another video for you today. Before I get into all that, please do us a huge favor. Give us a like, subscribe, new channel. It's going to help us grow a lot. But aside from all that, what we got going on today is we're going to play a little game here between Nick and myself. I'm going to give him three players, two sets of three players. He's going to give me two sets of three players to buy, sell, hold. And then we're just going to take it from there. So I will go with my first group right away for you, Nick. We are going to do Olave, London, and Brandon Ayuk.
Ooh,
Three young receivers.
yes, all three pretty young still. I think I'm going to go with my buy first. I want to buy Chris Olave. I think comparatively his value is a little lower than what it should be. He hasn't done too much the past couple years, but he has shown that he can be that number one guy. He's just had terrible quarterback play. Derek Carr didn't help too much this year, but once they fix that, I think he will return to elite status. He has a lot of potential still. So yeah, I'm going to buy Chris Olave. I think I'm going to sell Brandon Ayuk. He has shown that he can produce in the Niners system, even with all those weapons, but it typically isn't too consistent on a week-to-week basis. And when I'm playing fantasy football, I don't want to plug someone in my lineup when they have the good chance of scoring 5 points. So just too many weapons around him. He's getting a little bit older. He's older than these other two. There was rumors of him going somewhere else, but until I see it, I don't think it's going to happen. And then my hold is Drake London. He did get a good value boost this offseason when Kirk Cousins signed there in free agency. But I think once the season starts and he starts playing and we actually see that production, his value is going to go up even more. So I am holding Drake London.
Yeah, for sure. I thought you might have gone buy on London there just because you bought him recently, but you did get him before the Kirk boom. So
Yes.
it makes sense. He's more of a hold now. And Ayuk, I think he's staying in town. Like you said, there's talk about him leaving. It sounds almost more like they're more likely to move on from Debo if they do anything, just because they can't pay everybody. And it sounds like they're favoring Ayuk out of those. But yeah, no, nice choices there for sure.
All right, it is your
Mine.
turn in the hot seat, sir. Your three guys are Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Nico Collins.
I like that. I like that. The Waddle and Hill being on the Dolphins together. So first, I'm going to talk about Tyreek. I think he is the sell out of this group for Tyreek Hill, just because he's obviously the oldest, and he just had a boom season last season. So you could sell him to a contender for really high if you're not a contender, or I mean, even you can if you are a contender, you can still get pieces out of him to set up you for another trade. But I think it's time to move on from Tyreek. He's an animal. He'll probably have a good season next season, but he's not going to hold up forever for sure. So give him a sell. Then we had Waddle, right? And Waddle, I would give him. I will say hold him. No, you know what? Let's give him buy. Let's give Waddle buy. Buy into Waddle. Like I said, Tyreek's not going to be in town forever. You know, he's towards the end of his career, you would imagine, at this point. So Waddle's value could only go up if he does stay on that team. They have a great passing offense there. And then from there, that would leave hold on to Collins. See what happens this season. He should still be that 1A or that 1B in that offense, which after Stroud shattered all expectations is a good passing offense. And I think it's good to hold him because I think eventually he will be a sell target. But for this next season, he should be right where he was last season, maybe even a step up. So he's a good guy to hold on to.
Yeah, I like that a lot. You can really play into Waddle being a buy just because Tyreek is still there, even though his days are numbered. Yeah, hopefully Collins takes over that number one role, and then his value is definitely going to go up. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then I'll give you your next set of guys here. This one got a little funky. Got a pick in here. So we are going to do Will Levis, Bryce Young, and the 109.
Ooh, okay. Um, it's a great one. I like that you threw the draft pick in there. I think I'm going to start with my buy. I like I would like to buy Will Levis. I think he had pretty good talent coming out last year. There was rumblings of him going earlier than what he actually did. But we saw this year he took over and ended up being the starter by the end of the year. His first game out, he balled out. I believe he had 4 touchdowns. They spent up this offseason, got Calvin Ridley, got him another weapon there. Two good running backs that can catch passes as well. So I think all of that will help him develop further and bud into a superstar. Um, Next, I will go with Bryce Young. I'm going to hold on to Bryce Young. I do think he still has NFL talent. Obviously, it didn't show on the awful Carolina Panthers this year. But I think going forward, if they get him some weapons, do a little more. I know they had a coaching change this offseason. Uh, I think he could definitely increase in value. And he's still very young, so even if I hold him and his value stays where it is, maybe I'll sell him later. And I am selling the 109. I'm going to try and hold on to the 109 as close to the draft as possible, just so that I get maximum value out of the pick. But at 109, you're really missing out on all the superstars, even though this is a deep draft class. There's a lot of good players, but once you get past the 108, pretty much all the sure things, let's say, are gone. Even with J.J. McCarthy rising up draft boards, especially if he goes to Minnesota Vikings. But I like selling the 109 just because you miss out on all that.
Okay, okay. I think I might have gone Bryce Young for the buy, but I get where you're coming with Levis. He's gonna have a cheaper price point, so either ways, those would be my buy holds, swapping either way there. So I think that was
Cool.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
And then so we both did both of ours, right?
Nope, I
Yeah.
gotta get to you
Oh
in
no,
your
I didn't do my
second.
second one.
Yep. Um, your 3 players are going to be Josh Jacobs, James Cook, and Rashad White. 3 running backs.
So Jacobs, Cook, and White. What I will start with is Cook. I am going to say buy, partially because I just bought him in Dynasty. So let's make that line up there. He's a young player though. I think he's not viewed as a top guy, but he did have an RB1 season, so good guy to buy on. Maybe his value is a little higher than people are viewing him as right now. And then we got Jacobs and White. I will say sell White. White is a guy that honestly I've never really been high on, and he always does kind of beat my expectations of him. But like any good fantasy football YouTuber, I'm just gonna stick with my ways and ignore that, and then we are gonna ship him on out. And then for the hold, obviously that leaves Josh Jacobs. I like Jacobs as a player a lot. He's younger than people think. I say that all the time. I think he's still 25, 26. Seems older. Does and he's had a RB1. I think a RB1 overall season. I know he led the league in yards 2 years ago. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a couple years ago.
I,
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, he led the league in yards overall. And Packers is a good offense, a growing offense. So I think he will get some value kind of taken away with, Reed runs the ball. Jaden Reed runs the ball now. Um, and obviously, Love can move around a little bit too. But I think he's in a good offense, better offense than last year. And yeah, so I think he has value. So he's a good one to hold on to.
yeah, I like that a lot. And Jacobs started bad last year, got a little hot, and then ended bad. I think people still have a bad taste in their mouths, but the Packers offense, even if his rushing volume goes down, I think his efficiency increases. So I like him as a hold as well. And I'm really high on James Cook. You know this. So I like him as buy as well.
Yeah, yeah. How you feel about White?
Rashad White,
Hater.
I don't hate him as much as you do, as you've made known, but I think his efficiency, both the last 2 seasons, were just really not great, even though Tampa Bay was decent last year, made the playoffs. Pretty much everything's going to stay the same. So, I mean, I don't see him getting too much better, but I do see a chance of him falling off a little bit. So I like him as a sell as well.
For sure, for sure. Okay. Now we really did get through both of ours each. So what we'll do here is we'll both just throw one more player at each other, and we'll say if that person is a buy, sell, or a hold. You want me to give you first, or you want to give me mine?
You give it to me first.
All right. So
Pause.
we are gonna go. We are gonna go with Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. Ooh, I really like the talent of Aaron Jones. He played super well in the playoffs for the Packers. He's moving to a Vikings team that really just doesn't have a quarterback, but has a lot of good pieces around them. They might get just uh, J.J. McCarthy this year is what it's looking like. Maybe if they trade up in the draft, but I think I will say he's a buy. He's kind of an under the radar type of player. Um, and he's young enough to where he can still give you great production for a few years. He is only on a 1 year contract, but I think if he proves himself this year, he'll either get re signed or definitely get a good deal next year. So I like the production of Aaron Jones. I am buying right now.
Okay. As a contrarian, I am. I had him as a hold, but I see your line of thinking
Okay.
for him being a
If you
buy.
got him, hold him. Oh. All right. You ready for your player? I'm gonna
All
throw a
right,
little bit
ready
of a
for my player.
curveball. With the news that's came out, I am going to ask you about Rashi Rice.
Ah,
What are we
Rice.
doing?
That's hot button topic, right? Honestly, with Rice, this might surprise a little people. I am gonna say bye. I'm gonna say bye on Rasheed
Hmm.
Rice. Yeah. So honestly, my line of thinking here is I don't want to get too much into the incident as much, but there was no fatalities, so I don't think he's not banned from the NFL, and I don't think it'll be all year. I think it'll probably be maybe 8 or 9 game suspension. But even if it is all year, Hollywood Brown, who just came into town, that lowered his value from there. But he is only on a 1 year contract. So say worst case scenario plays out, Rasheed Rice suspended all season, then that is the season that Hollywood Brown is there. And maybe they resign him, maybe they don't. Maybe he goes somewhere else. And then maybe Rasheed Rice steps back into that number one. But I think his value is just so low for what his potential is now because of those two things happening kind of back to back that you could get him for way less than what his talent is worth. So kind of a tough call right now to say, but I would buy Rasheed Rice.
Yeah, very, very hot take there, especially with the news being so
You know
fresh.
me.
But hey, Dynasty, it's all about buying low, selling high. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but personally, I'm not buying them this minute. Maybe like we'll see what the suspension is. Maybe during the season this year, maybe he's a buy. But as of right now, I can't do it.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's not, and that's kind of the thing too. Is I'm thinking by now, before you know what the suspension is, but that's like you could
Yep,
be getting better value, you could be getting worse value. So that's kind of just
absolutely.
the line I would be walking there. But that is all we got for today. That was kind of a fun one. I think we should do some more of these type of videos. That was a cool one. Yeah, but like we said at the beginning up top, please like, subscribe. We would love your help. Drop a comment if you have any ideas for future videos. If we got any of these buy sell wrongs, if you think I'm wrong about White, if you think I'm wrong about Rice, let me know. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys.
Yep. Thanks for watching.